Have you ever thought to yourself, I could make way better merch than my favorite baseball, basketball, or football team makes. Their merch sucks. My merch would be cool. That's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna make our own merch. So it all started because my husband and my son were talking about opening day of baseball is just a couple days away. And it got me thinking, it's right around now that people are gonna start wearing their favorite baseball teams like t-shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies out in their regular life as a piece of their regular wardrobe, not because they're going to a game. And that merch kind of sucks. It's just the same thing over and over again. It's the same thing for everybody. It doesn't necessarily represent your own personal style. It's boring. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make totally custom merch using those pieces. So you can either thrift this. If you go to obviously your local thrift store in your local town, chances are there's gonna be a lot of t-shirts and sweatshirts that are featuring the teams because people that live in that community donate. Or of course you can raid things that are already in your closet. Maybe an old t-shirt that you got or an old sweatshirt. What we're gonna do is combine the two together to create totally custom graphics and placement. It's super, super fun. Now, the other reason this came to me is that my niece was staying in town visiting us from College of Charleston. And I texted her and I was like, bring some t-shirts and we'll go thrifting for some sweatshirts. Let's make you custom like college team spirit merch. So the next time you go to that big basketball game or football game, you've got like a one of a kind, only you have sweatshirt. If you are gonna do the no-sew version, just using fabric glue, just keep in mind that you're not gonna wanna machine wash it that much. You can machine wash it, but it's gonna shorten the lifespan of the glue. So either like spot clean, hand wash, or wash sparingly. The other thing is you could glue it down, get everything exactly where you want it, and then just drop it off at your tailor and be like, yo, can you zigzag stitch this thing down for me? And they will absolutely do that. But if you do know how to sew, I'd really recommend it because now you have something that you can just chuck in the wash over and over again. Okay, let's get started. Here's what we got: a thrifted sweatshirt and a thrifted Dodgers shirt, thrifted zip up and a thrifted Yankee shirt, and then 2 thrifted sweatshirts along with the t-shirts that my niece brought with her from College of Charleston. Now, first thing you gotta do is just cut out all of the different graphic elements from your existing shirt so that you'll be able to place them anywhere that you want. How you cut them out is up to you. What I will say is my original gut was to cut them really tight so it looked like this really beautiful, delicate border going all the way around. For the Dodgers one, it was sort of an irrelevant thing and made my life harder because the color is such a perfect match that I really could have given myself a little bit more space to work with when I was actually sewing, and I'll show you that in a minute. Now, this is the fun part. This is when you get to lay all of your different elements in different places and start playing with the design. This is one version I thought of, taking the graphic that was on the back and sort of centering in the front and on the arm as like an armband. Then I thought, ooh, what if I put them all in the front and kind of worked with the triangular elements? This is the version that I ended up liking best. Now, I would recommend, especially if you're sewing, to use tacky spray in lieu of pins. It's gonna give you a really flat, seamless, flush connection, allowing you to sew without anything kind of rippling or moving on you. And anytime I do tacky spray, I recommend doing it like this. Leave your graphics on your shirt. Fold half the graphic back and spray it, and then lay it back down on the shirt and do the other half. If you were to try to pick up this little Dodgers piece, spray it separately, then hold it up, then lay it back down, get it back exactly where you wanted it, like, it's never gonna happen. It's gonna end up somewhere you didn't want, it's gonna peel on itself. So just doing it that way is 1,000% easier. Now, I'm doing a zigzag stitch and I'm just going all the way around the graphics that are, again, fully adhered to my sweatshirt with the tacky spray. This is gonna make it very easy. Now, this is where I was talking about me cutting around all of the elements was sort of unnecessary for this sweatshirt because the color match just happened to be so perfect. It looks really cool, but like here, like this was so annoying. Like doing this up and down and around was a really annoying thing when I very easily could have cut it as like a rectangle or like a rounded bubble kind of. It just would have made it easier. Now for the Yankees one, I knew I needed to cut it straight up the center because it was a zip up hoodie. So you're just gonna center your graphic, line it up, and then just cut up the center so that you can add them on. This one in particular was an even bigger mistake, cutting it tight, because for some reason the like ink on the graphic was like gummy. I could not sew it. My presser foot kept getting stuck and dragging it and pleating it. And I mean, it was a complete nightmare, and I only was able to sew half before I finally gave up. So what I ended up doing is adding rhinestone to cover up the edges, and I'll show you how I did that. Now, my original plan was to create this really cool like lace up all the way around the hood, almost like a baseball lace up. And so I got this camo paracord, which I thought was a perfect color. And so what I'm doing is I'm snipping little tiny holes on the inside and the outside of the hood where the draw cord normally goes so that I can lace it up. The paracord was not working. It was too skinny. It was like rounding on itself. It didn't give me the effect. Frankly, I just thought it looked cheap. So I went and got some big fat drawstring cord, and it made all the difference. So all that you're gonna do is every inch, you're gonna snip a hole on the front and the back of the hood, and then you're just gonna go through those holes, lacing it around and around and around. It's gonna create this really cool detail all the way around the hood, which is fantastic. Now here's the part where I'm adding the rhinestone. You can look, I ripped my fingers apart, I cut them, I sewed through them. It was a hell of a day, and at this point I was just like over this sweatshirt. And so normally I would recommend using E6000 for this. I didn't have a fresh bottle, so I'm using some super glue. But if you knew that you weren't gonna sew it from the get, you could just use fabric glue on the back of this graphic and call it a day. So that is one option. Now, here's my niece. I was showing her like we could do something on the pocket, we could do something like X's on the shoulder, what do you want? She decided she wanted the X's. So I am marking every inch so I know where to cut on both sides of the sleeve, and then with my scissors, tiny little snips to create little holes to push the cording through. You're gonna need a safety pin or like a little bit of tape or burning the edges of your paracord so that you can easily get them through. And I recommend going all one way first. You can see I'm going down, creating angles all the way around. Then come back up the way you came, going over those little lines, and it automatically creates your X's. And it gives it like a really cool kind of athletic vibe. And then for this last one, I just thought I would play with doing a little bit of macrame with the paracord on the existing draw cord. I was like, that could be fun and something different I haven't done. You're just gonna wrap all the way around it. I did a simple square knot, and then I sealed it with like a hot knife to kind of fuse it together. And that's it. I am gonna go model these for you right now. I gotta say, I am legit obsessed with the Dodgers one. I'm not even really a Dodgers fan, and I think I'm holding on to this sucker because it's just cool. Like, it looks like street style cool merch, man. I'm really into it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, share it with a friend, leave me a comment. All of those things really help the channel because, you know, the freaking algorithm, man. It's the wild, wild west, and I never know what's going on. So all of that activity really does help the channel. All right, enjoy the fashion show, and I will see you guys next week.